Last year on the channel, I built a NAS using a Raspberry Pi 5, a whole bunch of different adapters to allow connectivity to a bunch of hard drives, and some old hard drives themselves to use for storage. The end result looked like this, and I was really happy with it, and it's been working perfectly ever since. But using all those adapters is a real faff, and I want to simplify the whole thing down. So I picked up one of these. It's a Radxa Penta SATA HAT, and this will expose 4 SATA ports directly out of the top of the hat, so it should make everything a whole lot neater. Let's go and put all of this together right here on Jeff's Pi in the Sky. Hello once again, Pi geeks and techno nerds all over the world. My name's Jeff, and I'm an IT professional who's been in the industry for over 30 years. I've been using Raspberry Pi since they first came out, and I wanted to share with you some of the projects that I've done over the years. If you like what you see on this channel, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit that notification bell so you can be told when I put a new video out. Let me know in the comments how you get on with building a NAS. And if you've got any ideas for projects that you'd like to see me do in the future, put those in there as well. All of the engagement with the channel really helps it grow, and I'm very appreciative for every single comment, like, or suggestion that you can provide. I'm really hoping to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so anything you can do to help with that would be greatly appreciated. Now, if you haven't seen the original video where I put a NAS together, you can see that right here, and I'll also link to it in the description below. There is then a follow-up video on installing Open Media Vault on it, and I could use that to really administer the NAS. Since I put all of it together, it's been working brilliantly, and I've absolutely no complaints. The only slight downside is that it does look a bit like an industrial nightmare. At the time when I put it together, the PCI Express capabilities of the Raspberry Pi 5 hadn't been exploited very much, and so there weren't many hats available that you could use to connect PCI Express devices. As a result, I had to layer a few things on top of each other. So the main board that connected to the Raspberry Pi was one that allows a connection of an M.2 NVMe drive. Now, since M.2 connectors are effectively just reformatted PCI Express interfaces, I was then able to get an adapter board that would allow that NVMe interface to be turned into a standard PCI Express port. From here, I could then just plug in a regular SATA controller card, and I could then just attach all the hard drives straight into that. But not long after this, Radxa came out with this. It's a hat that connects to the Raspberry Pi 5, connects to the PCI Express interface on it, and exposes 4 SATA connections out of the top. There's then another eSATA connection coming off the back. And so, if I connect this onto my Raspberry Pi 5 and I replace all of those other adapters, it should make everything a whole lot neater. But before we get into that, let's take a look at everything that you get with the kit as it arrives. Now, one thing that Radxa is extremely good at is packaging. When the device first arrives, it's in this nice little cardboard sleeve. And this then contains a nice sturdy plastic container. This keeps the board within it and all of the other bits and pieces really nice and safe. Cracking open the plastic case, there's then a static bag, and this contains the actual board itself. And you can see that here. There are 4 SATA ports directly exposed off of the top of it here, along with their power connectors. The silver connector that you can see just down here is an eSATA connector, and you can use an eSATA cable that is actually provided with the kit to connect this to yet another hard drive. So it supports 5 in total. There's then a Molex connector here where you can connect power, or you can also use a standard 12-volt barrel jack and connect that through this interface on the bottom here. Here is that eSATA port. It does look very much like a regular SATA port, but they are subtly different. And so you can't just plug a regular SATA cable into this, you need a custom cable. Talking of which, the black cable here is the eSATA cable that comes with the device, and the other 2 cables are for connecting the PCI Express interface from the Raspberry Pi to the hat. And one thing that's really nice here is that Radxa do provide 2 of them, so if one breaks for any reason, you'll always have a spare. There's then also a bracket that gets provided, So if you do want to use this with a set of 4 2.5mm SSDs, you can stack those up vertically, hold them in place with these brackets, and everything will be nice and sturdy. They also provide all of those standoffs and screws, so you can put everything together really easily. The documentation on the Radxa website for the Penta SATA HAT is really excellent, and there's a lovely guide here for how to put it all together, which was really easy to follow. The only thing that's a little bit strange is rather than using screws at the top here, they use other standoffs to hold everything in place. That seems like a strange decision, but it works, so I'm not going to question it too much. And the end result looks like this. It's a really neat little unit. But now, let's see if it actually works. Now, just to check that everything's working, I've actually taken a fresh SD card and I've burned Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit onto it. So here we've got a brand new installation. I just want to use this to make sure that all of the connectivity is good before I actually set up everything in the NAS. So according to the documentation, the first thing I need to do is edit the /boot/firmware/config.txt file, go all the way to the bottom of the file, and add the line dt_param equals PCIe EX1 at the end. I can then save out the file and reboot. Now everything's rebooted, I'm going to try to run sudo lspci to list out all of the PCI devices on the Raspberry Pi. And sure enough, we're seeing our new SATA controller card listed there. So the next thing is to see if it can actually work with a hard drive. So I'm going to shut the Pi down again, connect a hard drive up, and then we'll see if it shows up when I boot up. And now I'm rebooted again. I can run lsblk and let's see if the new drive shows. And yes, it does. I've now got an SDA drive showing up, which is a 500GB hard drive. So this is great. Everything's working just fine. But now there comes one more little problem with logistics that I'll have to work through. Taking a look at my NAS here, what you can see is that the Raspberry Pi is currently mounted above where all the hard drives are. They're all stacked together at the bottom. However, with the SATA HAT, all the ports are facing up away from the Raspberry Pi, and the cables that I've got to then connect to the hard drives won't reach if they have to get all of the way to the bottom of the enclosure. So I'm going to have to restructure all of this to put the Pi on the bottom and then the hard drives above it. Hopefully this won't be too painful, it should work out alright. And there is the end result. Everything's all put back together, and you can see the Pi is now at the bottom with the 4 hard drives above it. Now for the moment of truth. Let's see if it all works. And so I've now got the Pi running, and I've got a terminal session open here. Now let's run lsblk, and we can see all 4 of our hard drives. So everything is working beautifully. Now I'm going to put in all of the remaining NAS software and see if everything springs to life. And so here we go. The box is rebooted. I can see all of the disks, including all of the software RAID disks, and I can navigate to my Open Media Vault webpage. Opening that up, everything looks like it's under control, and I can see that all of my Docker containers, or at least all the ones that I'm expecting to be running, are running just fine. And this includes my Jellyfin server, so now I'm back online and I can access all of my media. And so there you go, one successful NAS upgrade. I'm really happy with this Radxa SATA HAT. Having 4 SATA ports straight out of the Raspberry Pi like this is so convenient, and it works perfectly. For my case, I had to use extension cables to get from the HAT to the drives. But the board is designed so you can put 4 2.5-inch drives straight in the top. It is absolutely fantastic. But that's it for this video. Once again, if you like what you see on this channel, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you want to see more, and hit that notification bell so you can be told when I put a new video out. Let me know in the comments how you get on with your NAS, and if you've got any ideas for projects that you'd like to see me do in the future, put those in there as well. And just once again, any interaction that you can make with the channel really helps the algorithm and puts this video in front of more people. And where I am trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, that helps so much. Thanks so much for watching till the end, and until next time, bye for now.